Are you guys there?
What's up, Austin? Hey, Aaron.
What's up here? Do you want to go? Do you want to go first after announcements?
Yeah, we're great.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Yep.
You have a cold, man?
Something. Not. Don't worry. It's not COVID.
Good. Looks like you're up at school.
I'm at a library in West Jordan. I was here for an event and then stayed to work remotely, and then I'm going back. I'm going to school in an hour.
Did you do the missing middle housing today? Yeah. How was it?
Amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
Dan Perlick is an amazing designer. Yeah. And the book is really cool because it has examples of each housing type, really good pictures, and then how to place them on a lot, like the size of the lot, the size of the building.
Cool. Yeah.
The height of the building. So then if you get some land and you can see what you can do with it. It's really cool.
Was it well attended, I imagine?
Oh yeah, I'd say there were probably 200 people there.
Yeah.
It looked like mostly government people. I saw some real estate developers types. There were some legislators too, politicians.
Okay.
So I hope it has an impact. I remember 3 years ago, the Donald Trump thing happened at the same place, and same Salt Lake County thing, and I don't know what's come from that.
Yeah, I know we've been doing a few parking studies, and hopefully we have something good to deliver to everybody. That kind of speaks to that.
Yeah.
At some point in the near future.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Are you involved in the parking studies, Hugh?
Not directly. Julie in our office has been the PM on those.
And are they looking at like actual parking use and versus the codes?
I know they had a couple of case studies they're looking at, but yeah, the whole idea was just modernization of parking, right? And appropriate parking strategies. And then have something for, that's Utah centric that can be handed out to everybody and say, here's where we're at, and here's how you can improve your parking ordinances and improve your land use right around them. Yeah.
When I worked for Provo City, I did some counts and studies on actual use, and it was pretty shocking, the difference between what we require and what gets used.
Really?
So the Provo City requires 5 parking spots per 1,000 square feet for retail and office.
Oh wow.
And I went on a busy day, pre-work from home, to many office buildings, both suburban and urban contexts, and I found 1.5 cars per 1,000 square feet. So 5 versus 1.5.
Yeah, that's wild, right?
Yeah.
About the inefficiency of space. Yeah.
Huge difference. And then Lehigh requires less than Provo, but they're seeing 3 cars per 1,000 square feet of use. They require 4.
Closer. Yeah. Sorry, get you off track here from the meeting. So.
No, you're good. It's just Yeah, those were interesting times. I mean, you learned that data doesn't change minds.
It's kind of funny, right? Like supposedly it should, but people are really, it's hard to change people's mindset if they're not open to that change, regardless of information that is presented, right?
Yeah. It's more about social cues, like what do your friends think? Yeah. Okay, we're 3 minutes in, so we might as well start. Thanks for joining, everybody. Let's do a quick round of introductions. Most everybody knows each other, but so just to say your name and your relationship with BikeWalk Provo. So I am Austin Taylor. I'm the executive director of BikeWalk Provo, and I'll call you out based on where you are on the screen. So Hugh, you're next.
Hugh Van Wagenen, walking neighborhood resident. And I should say, I ran into Jordan, who was in Kira's spot before Kira came back up here in Salt Lake. And he says hello to everybody down in Provo.
Nice. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Kira.
Kira Johnson. I am the director of Provo Bicycle Collective and appreciate everything about BikeWalk Provo and all the people here.
Thanks. And we appreciate everything that you guys do at the collective. Okay, Stan.
Stan Morris, Bike Walking Neighborhood and Bike Walk Provo Stories.
Thanks. Christine.
I'm Christine Branson. I'm BikeWalk Provo's Director of Communication.
Thank you. Aaron.
I'm Aaron Scabland. I am the Director of Operations and live in the River Grove neighborhood.
Thanks. Okay, Todd.
I'm Todd. I work on the website and try to help out any other way that I can. And yeah, I live in Provo South for those of you who are interested.
Sweet. Okay, Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Silva, and I do volunteer coordination for Bike Walk Provo and just moved into this position over the summer. So hello.
Hey, thanks, Chelsea. McCord.
My name is McCord. I'm just recently the coordinator for tactical urbanism.
Nice. Okay, Dakota.
Yeah, I'm Dakota, and I'm the part of the Bike Walk Provo board. I'm the secretary, and I'm in Mazer neighborhood.
Awesome. Okay, thanks everybody for introductions. Thanks for being here. So with the agenda, we're going to start off with announcements, and then we've got some reports of really cool things that have happened during this month. This month was full, or September was full of events. It was very busy, and like all the events were crammed into a week. We accomplished so many things together during that week, and a lot of very public things that will hopefully change minds. So I'm excited for you all to hear about what happened. But so first with announcements, I'm going to share my screen and I'll walk you through some of the bigger announcements. And as usual, I'm going to, Aaron, can you let me share my screen?
Austin.
Yeah.
I'm joining by phone, and I'm not sure how to allow that. Darn it.
So if you go to participants and then you click
Yeah.
on me, you can make me a host.
Make host, yes. Okay, it happened.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to share some things. Okay, the first one, and this is really important, and everyone needs to be at these meetings if your schedule allows. So when UVX was first being planned, There was supposed to be a stop north of BYU, stop south or in the middle of it, and stop to the south of it. After BYU pushed against UVX, it got shifted onto 900 East instead of by the Wilkinson Center in the center of campus. And then when the residents on 900 East in the Tree Streets neighborhood heard about it and got scared of it, they convinced the city to eliminate the stop that was supposed to be on 900 East. And so now what we have is a 1 mile gap between stops at BYU South and BYU North. This is a very long gap for a system where most of the stops are less than a half mile in between. And you can even think of downtown. There are stops at 400 South, Center Street, 300 North. All right, so usually they're fairly close together. So you've got this massive gap. We also have heritage halls to one side, which is BYU student housing that's really dense. Buildings are 4 or 5, I think they're 4 stories. It's 6 students per apartment, and they're told to not have cars. So these are prime transit users. And then there's neighborhoods to the east of it with lots of families that could have access to this transit. Anyways, there's no stop there now. We've been pressuring the city to put in a stop, and they've reacted. And so now they want to hold neighborhood meetings to talk about installing this stop. And so it's up to us to be at those meetings to show that the public supports the installation of these stops. And I would say if you live in the Northeast area, especially by BYU, it's even more important that you be at that. So if you guys know Jamin Rowan, he's a BYU professor. He lives in that Tree Streets area. He is BikeWalk Provo's coordinator on this. And so he's been watching closely what's happening, what the city's doing, and he's organizing his neighborhood. And he has over 200 people who live in that neighborhood and are supportive of this stop. So he's going to get those people there. We all need to be there. So please put these events on your calendar and come to as many of them as you can, just to show that residents support the stop. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, quick comment. Can we get some posters and post them in the Heritage Halls like common areas and get the students out too?
So we, as BikeWalk Provo, can't. BYU is very restrictive about flyers, but we have a student, a child of a BikeWalk Provo volunteer who lives in Heritage Halls, who is now asking how to distribute flyers. So we're behind, it's not enemy lines, BYU is not an enemy, but we have infiltrated the system, and flyers will be getting around Heritage Halls as long as BYU will not tear them down and they'll allow it. Thanks, Rick. Okay, any other questions?
That's great.
At these, would they be discussing like placement and whatnot, or do they have a couple options that they're going to bring up, or how exactly does that work? Because like the 2 lanes for a bus to get back and forth, I took UVX for a couple years to UVU, and 900, like that's a pretty busy 2-lane street. So do you know if they have recommendations, or would they be asking for that at the time?
Yeah, so this is a section where the bus doesn't have its own lane. And what I've seen some preliminary drawings, and it's not a center of the street stop. These are stops on the edge. And UTA has some very basic designs that it's going to bring to these neighborhood meetings. So it puts it fairly close to this area. You know, not exactly in front of the creamery, but it's somewhere in here. Okay, thanks you guys. This is really important. So let's be at it. You'll hear all about it. We'll keep posting about it. Okay, some other good things that have happened that we're not going to spend a ton of time on are the city painted bike lanes on Canyon Road between University Avenue and University Parkway. So thanks to Aaron. I think Aaron took these photos of it. So buffered in some segments. And BYU is following that up with right at its entrance. Let me go to that entrance. So right here at the entrance where Cougar Boulevard's bike lane ends and you're forced to go, in, share the road with cars, BYU is moving, or it's putting a bike lane in right here. So that bike lane that goes through Cougar Boulevard will continue all the way up the hill and into campus. And it's basically done last time I saw it. Aaron, do you know if it's all the way done?
The work on the road is done, but the sidewalk is not complete. And so there's still pylons in the road where the bike lane is, and that's being used as a sidewalk until they finish the sidewalk above the curb.
Okay, cool. And so from what I've seen, the bike lane is here on the right edge of the street, and then the sidewalk basically goes behind the sign, right? That was what I remember seeing. Okay, so that's great news. And then some other small things. We want to thank everybody who came to our volunteer appreciation party. This was combined with the Bike Collective, and we've done a lot of stuff together. And so we just wanted to get together and have dinner, just like go to a park, have dinner together. And you all came and it was really fun. We had tacos from Bras's, and we want to thank you guys for the time you put in, because none of us are paid to do this. This is all something that we choose to do in our free time because we love it and because we're creating impact. And so we want to thank you for the work that you've done. So we did that together. And at that event also, Stan got Volunteer of the Year, and Stan's here today. So let's give Stan some applause.
Go Stan.
Thanks, Stan. Stan creates our BikeWalk Provo stories. So when you see photos of people and their stories of why they walk, bike, ride transit, that's Stan who's creating them. So we want to thank him. Okay, so those are all the announcements that I wanted to share with you guys. Does anyone else have quick announcements they want to share?
I have a quick announcement. This is Chelsea.
Okay.
I'll turn my camera on. It's bright. That's why I have it off. But on October 18th, which is a Monday at 5 p.m., we're going to host a Goathead poll. I know it's a kind of late in the season, but there's a lot of interest. And so we're doing a Goathead poll at Sunset View Elementary, and the principal is really excited about it because he said it'll save him time and energy in repairing bike tires from kids that get Goatheads around the school. So if you don't have anything going on at 5 p.m. on October 18th, join us.
Cool. The last Goathead event was pretty good. Most of the Goatheads had not grown by then, and so now they're big. Now they're ready to pull. So thank you, Chelsea. Thanks for organizing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, and make sure you share that info with Christine so she can do social media posts and everything.
Yep, we're working together. Thanks.
Okay, awesome, thanks. Okay, so we've got Hugh with us. Hugh is over Bike to School Week for BikeWalk Provo, and we want to give him some time to report on how Bike to School Week went this year.
Thanks, Austin, and thanks everybody. I'm in some ways at arm's length of what's going on at the actual schools during Bike to School Week. So I'll give you just sort of a snapshot of what I know and some of the feedback that we got. But overall, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 schools sign up to participate directly this year. That's sometimes we've had more, and so we can continue to push that in years to come. One of the nice things that we did have this year was there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 either businesses or public agencies like the health department or the Department of Public Safety that all contributed in some way, the Bike Collective and Kira, into promoting Bike to School Week and participating in some way. So that was great. The school seemed pretty pleased with the prizes. Just so everybody knows, what we did was gathered any donations for the week, and rather than just pair a school with a business, we collected everything and tried to sort of split it up so that there was, decent prizes for any school that was participating. So that was good and successful. We also saved some of those prizes for Walk to School Day, which was yesterday, and handed those off to Mary so that it wouldn't be, hey, give us some stuff for Bike to School Week, please, and then turn right around and say, hey, please give us some stuff for Walk to School Day. So we were able to keep some things for that. And what I'm hoping to do here in just the next little bit is send some thank you cards out to those organizations that participated with some photos. I don't know what it'll look like exactly, but something just says thanks from BikeWalk Provo and the schools, with some photos of the children participating, just for that feedback loop a little bit, and to let those businesses and agencies know you're grateful for their participation in that. So that, in a nutshell, is how Bike to School Week went. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions if people have any. But it happened this year, so that's good.
And you did a great job organizing it in the past. And this is really cool. In the past, BikeWalk Provo has had to do most of the work. And we used to actually station volunteers at as many schools as possible to do counts of how many people wrote in or to give out prizes. But now, basically, the schools and their PTAs are doing that. Isn't that right here?
Yeah, that's right. So any school that signed up just relied on their PTA and volunteers to do that. We drop prizes off to them. So yeah, I think one school did say back, we sure could use more people during the week to execute some of the activities that they did. But that's probably a good thing to have, means there was interest. I know in the bike rodeo that I attended at one school, more adult help would have been great, because the rodeo was just sort of like anarchy and chaos of kids riding their bikes around at recess, but they had a blast. And so yeah. But yeah, you're right, Austin. We certainly rely on the schools and their PTAs to execute.
Yeah, and that's good, because it means that the institutions are adopting and following through with the event. They're not relying on us.
Yeah, they're owning it. Yeah, they're owning it more. Yep, for sure.
So love that.
Thanks.
You guys have any questions for Hugh? Okay, well, thanks. And thanks for, as always, thanks for doing that, Hugh. You do a great job. Okay, so we got a few other reports. One is for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Count. This is something that we do every year, and Clark was in charge of that. Clark's not here yet, so we'll wait to do that until he comes. And then we also have the Parklet construction report from Britain. He's not here yet, but he'll be coming. So Kira, I'm wondering, could you give us a report on recent happenings at the Bike Collective?
Happy to. So September, we had the goal of fixing up and giving away 60 kids' bikes, and we did fix up that many. We actually didn't give all of them away. We still have like 10 left. They're all pink, but we had a good giveaway and tried to partner with as many schools, let them know that we had it, but ended up doing a giveaway from the shop. There's some things that we do different next time, like not have it at 8 a.m. So more families can come, but it is exciting and the kids are really happy. I'm just looking at some notes here. We have several events coming up here in October. Several social rides. We have one tomorrow. We're going to just ride around town for a bit and then decide on a restaurant to go eat at together for anybody that wants to stay and socialize. So that's at 6 p.m. tomorrow. And then Saturday, the 23rd, we're going to bike up to South Fork in the afternoon and have a picnic up there. It will get dark while we're up there. So if you come, be prepared for lights and night riding. And then another night ride, October 29th, a Friday before Halloween. We're going to do Spooks and Spokes and see some spooky things in Provo. And we still have volunteer nights and volunteer opportunities. If anybody wants to volunteer extra time doing bike stuff, you're always welcome to come over. We have a Women's Transfem night the first Monday of every month, which is a great opportunity for those who identify to come and learn bike mechanics in a safe, open environment. So everything's great at the collective. We have a lot of fun over here and are super grateful for the help that it was awesome to be able to fix up so many bikes in 1 month, to be able to give away those. So I'm grateful for our volunteers, which a lot of volunteers overlap with BikeWalk Provo.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of that giveaway. It looked awesome.
It's good fun.
Yeah, nice work. And I saw those events too, and they all look really fun. I'm gonna come to as many as I can.
Great. Bring Elise and baby.
Yes. Yes, I will. Okay, Rob, you're with us, right, Rob Hunter?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I'm late.
Cool. No, you're good. No worries. Do you want to give us a quick report on any Provo City happenings?
Let me see ones that you guys would be interested in. I believe that the administration's already reached out to you, let you know there's going to be a couple of, and you may have already talked about it. There's a couple of open houses regarding putting in the 900 East UVX stop. One that just happened within the last maybe week and a half is UDOT did testing on, and then we got with them, and they have left it in place of doing half cycle lengths at the UVX stops, the traffic lights for the UVX stops at 300 north and 600 north, meaning it's timed half of what the rest of the coordination is. And it doesn't seem to be, really making a big negative impact to the traffic, but it does cut down significantly the amount of time that pedestrians have to wait to get to those bus stops.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this. If it's clear, you just go to the bus stop.
Yeah, and they're trying to cut down on people having to do that. So, which we very much appreciated, and they, like I said, they tested it out and didn't seem to be made a whole lot better for the pedestrians. Didn't seem to be really affecting the traffic, and so we all agreed that we're going to keep that moving forward. We increased some walking times around the convention center recently, and we are putting together our plan for what we're going to be installing next year. I don't have a final plan a final list of things to talk to you guys about. There's a lot of construction that's happening within the city, and so we're trying to come up with a final plan of what are we going to do road rehab wise next year. Not wanting to do things and then have development come in and tear it up right after. So we're trying to finalize where we think we're safe to do it, and then we'll come up with what new bike facilities will be going in with that.
Rob, do you have any streets that you know for sure are going to be repaved?
Well, there are ones that, as of right now, I'm not aware that there's any reason not to put them in. So there's different sections of Canyon Road. At least some sections of Canyon Road that are going to be slated to repave next year. As far as I've been made aware, there's nothing that's come up yet that we know of that would push that back at all. So Canyon Road is probably the one that's kind of the biggest, the most highly used bicycle that still needs bike lanes put in there. But we're still looking at exactly how we're going to do that. So
cool. And no big arterials this year, you think?
One that may be done next year, but is one where there's a lot of development that's going in on the west side, and so maybe pushed back. That had been slated in our 5-year plan, had been coming up, is West Center Street. with how much construction is going on, we might push that back a year or two. Specifically, I mean, besides the general, there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's vehicle traffic, some of it from our own projects that are included on Center Street. There is development that's happening adjacent to, and is going to be putting a new curb gutter sidewalk along there. And so we may wait a year to do that. But if we do, we're looking at what we can do bike lane wise for those sections of Center Street that don't have it. But like I said, that one may be, that's a big arterial, but that's a maybe. We don't know yet.
Yeah, and that's still, like, it's an arterial, but it's still just a 2-lane road, and I think there are some sections with no sidewalk too.
There are. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for keeping us updated, Rob. Anything else you want to share?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay, we're always appreciative of the work that you guys do.
Thank you.
So keep it up. Keep up the good work. Some Provo City related stuff that I want to share with everyone. One is that, and Rob, you might know more about this, is that, you know, the city's trying to hire a city engineer right now, and this person would be over streets, but also some other divisions of engineering. But ultimately, they have a lot of authority over how the streets are designed. They give the ultimate sign off on it. So if you have people who have that professional engineer license and have several years of work experience, and you think they'd be a good fit, then you should direct them to apply. I think the job's been posted for at least a month, maybe 2, so it might be closed already.
Yeah, so I can confirm it is closed already.
It is
so,
closed. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know we have at least one active transportation advocate on that committee, the hiring committee, George Hanley from the city council. Most of us know him. When UVX came in, George committed to ride UVX everywhere possible. And same thing when he bought an e-bike. He basically rides his e-bike everywhere now. So he's an advocate, and he's going to be on that committee. So he'll keep us informed on what's going on there. And then the second thing is, and I'll share this super quick, the city is hiring a parking manager again. This will be like the 3rd one, I think, over the past 4 years, but they've upped the pay significantly. It's a very high paying job. So if you have desires to improve parking in the city, which has lots of implications with walking and biking, because the way the city's designed and the way that it's laid out with parking can make or break the walkability of the city. Read over the requirements, see if you are that person, and you should apply, because I heard last time they opened it and posted it, they didn't get anyone that they were really excited about. So maybe you can be that person. Could be a good job. So that's it for Provo City related stuff. So we'll move on. We've got Britton here. Britton was the project manager for our parklet installation on Center Street. And Britton, are you able to share your screen with pictures of the parklet at all?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. There might be a little bit of background noise since I'm at airport right now, but
no worries.
Let me go ahead and share this. All right, do you guys have a good visual on this?
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, cool. Let me see. Trying to find the presentation button for this.
Bottom right, I can click on it if you want.
Oh yeah, that'd be helpful.
I have to request remote control.
Thank you. Perfect. Let me see if this works. Okay, awesome. So first off, thank you guys for being able to invite me to be in charge of this parklet project. Thank you, Austin, for putting me on as a project manager and for Caleb for coming up with helping with the design, and everyone you see here pictured, or most of the people who came and showed up to help with the actual parklet construction. So big thank you to you guys. And if you showed up but weren't able to attend, thank you as well. So here's a couple of pictures from the parking day parklet that we had. It was made possible with SPIN and the Block Foundation through a grant giving BikeWalk Provo about $1,000 to work with. And let's take a look at this. So this sign is put there right now. Is essentially showing that this park was built by BikeWalk Provo. And if you don't really know what a parklet really is, it's essentially when you take about one parking space or so. It's typically seen on street parking, but we were able to unfortunately just get a parking lot space, which is fine as well. But ultimately, it's kind of like a symbol to display that new urbanism type of mindset, or that we don't necessarily need all this space for cars, but we need a lot of extra space for other options like active transportation, bicycles, and walking and such. So initially on this map, this is the initial location that we had planned for it to be, over by the India Palace and across from the New Skin building. That hypothetically would have been right there, right where you see that fire hydrant, just about a couple, like 15 feet off, because we want to be aware of those fire trucks and emergency vehicles to come and respond. But unfortunately, we were able to get that spot. So if you haven't been to it already, it's seen right here at this parking lot. If you look to your left, that's the Good Move Cafe, and to the right is the Enlighten Cafe. Here's the on-street view. It's where that Bubba Shack thing is, but it's not actually that Bubba Shack. We're not sponsored by Bubba Shack, so just interpret it as that's the actual spot, more or less right there. So on parking day, after we got all of the things from Home Depot and the like, we rendezvoused at this spot. This is what it looked like before any of the construction happened. And on this next slide, you'll see the work in progress, all the people showing up to help. We rolled out some fake grass tarp. We were able to find a lot of folding chairs and plants and other really nice pots to store them in. That way, after we were done with it, we can repurpose those for other events that we might want to use for BikeWalk Provo. Well, we're still deciding on what we want to do with that, but if you haven't been to it yet, be sure to check it out right there. And then right here is the finished product. For about $1,000. This is actually pretty surprising, the amount of stuff that we were able to acquire and get for the place and be able to organize it. We're actually left with about $150 left over. So if any of you guys have any recommendations of things you'd like to add to the parklet at all, you can message me or Austin and we can see if that could be possible or not. One thing we are considering is using some of the funds to replace some things. If you've been there recently, you'll see that the middle table has a little bit of damage on it, and we can easily use some funds to replace those things to keep it looking nice and good for the community. So this is actually pretty sweet because to my understanding, Provo hasn't really done too much stuff with temporary parklets, especially particularly for parking day. But hopefully, as this continues, and if the reception's really good for this parklet, we can get a little bit more semi-permanent or permanent parklets such as this one, with some access to, you know, good seating and to bicycle stands. And my personal favorite that I was able to find is this kind of idealistic parklet. You got the green bike lane and being able to roll up to the place with some with your bikes on it. That sounds pretty good if I were a biker myself. But yeah, hopefully this will be a good motivation to help Provo get a little bit more active transportation. And for sure, Austin may have already mentioned the meetings happening for the expansion of UVX. So it's good to see that Provo's making good steps to increasing the active transportation. So thank you again.
Thanks, Britton. Yeah, Britton did a fantastic job leading out on this. Yeah, we had multiple roadblocks along the way, and we only had, it was like two or 3 weeks to pull it all together after we were notified that we won the grant. I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
I was surprised we were able to get all of that together in the span of less than a month, which was really, really, really good.
Yeah, and a lot of the success was due to our connections with Downtown Provo Inc. and also the leniency of that property owner who owns that parking lot to let us use one of their parking spaces. Because you know, a lot of people don't want to give up car parking, but this guy did, and that was fantastic. You guys have any questions for Britton about the parklet?
I know Aaron asked when the parklet, how long the parklet will be. It's anticipated to be up at least until mid-November. Hopefully we can get that to be as long as possible, but I think some big concerns are snowpack and other things like that, but hopefully we can get it to be as long as possible.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to the parking lot owner what they want to do. And
Yes.
So far I haven't heard anything from him, so I'm assuming that it's good.
So something to mention that I failed to mention when it was kind of the city happenings is that ties into this is that TMAC has finished up their kind of scoring of all the different ideas and options that they have discussed on Center Street, and I believe within the next month or two should be passing forward those recommendations to the city council for their input and potential. You know, they may be putting together something to vote on in terms of giving us direction on how to move forward. But I do know that parklets they brought in near the end as they were going through their scoring, and then wanting to see what the input was from downtown Provo. They brought in Quinn and he gave some input. One of the main ones that he was talking about was these parklets, and it scored pretty high on their scoring. So I see the city moving forward in that direction.
Cool. I love it. And that reminds me, we have been trying to get someone on TMAC as a BikeWalk Provo representative, and we are still waiting for responses from the mayor's office. I know, Rob, you don't have anything you can do on that, but
I wish I could give you some info. That's not my department.
Yeah, no, and we keep doing like literally everything we can do. So yeah. So just wanted to let all the volunteers know, yeah, TMAC is the city's transportation committee, and they give direction for city staff on what the city should be spending its money and time on transportation wise. So we think it's important we have a representative there. So we continually apply when there are openings. We always send BikeWalk Provo members to apply, and the mayor's continually slow to fill that spot, but we are pushing. We've got 3 candidates right there applying. Okay, so the last thing that's on our agenda is something that Clark Pixton led and James Stewart helped with. Neither of them are here, and so we might have to do it next time. But back in 2019, we started doing a bike and walk count. The idea was that we could start gathering data so that we could track walking and biking rates over time in the city. So we had like 15 different spots throughout the city where we stationed people for 2 hours at a time during peak PM commute hours on a weekday, and then middle of the day on a Saturday. And we gathered a bunch of data, put it in this huge Excel spreadsheet and model that extrapolates it and can give you a rough estimate on how many people walk or bike past a certain point in the city each year. So we did that in 2019. We didn't do it in 2020 because the data would have been really off with all of the BYU remote. And so we did it this year for 2021. That was in mid-September. Clark led that. A lot of you guys helped with that count, and we're thankful you did that. Clark is now compiling the data. He's going to put it in that same spreadsheet. When he does that, we'll be able to see, compare it to 2019, if certain areas of the city saw more biking or more walking or less. And that'll be really interesting to see. We might be able to hypothesize why some places went up, why some places went down. So I'm really excited to see that. Does anyone want to talk about their experience counting or anything related to that?
This is Chelsea. I'd like to comment. So thanks for that, because that was I think that's really important that we collect that data, because there's just a lot of need for, exactly what we do with this organization and creating more opportunities for safe biking and walking. But the comment I wanted to make was that I was stationed right in front of the rec center, and later found out, why that crosswalk is there, because somebody passed away due to a traffic incident at that site. But I think that in the future, and I don't know if I should talk to about this, but 100 West at 500 North and 100 West, I feel like that crossing right there, even though it's right next to University and between Freedom, there's so much foot traffic right there, because I live right here. And I think it would be worthwhile to have someone stationed there next year to track that, because it, just like probably what that other section is like, that intersection is very dangerous for pedestrians. And I watch people doing dangerous things all the time. So I think it would be worth our time to look at that and think about collecting data there.
Yeah, thanks. That's a good point. I've also seen a lot of people cross there because it's a great way to get to the Smith's grocery store.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. I'm just gonna check if that's counted street. If you don't know about this, this is a cool tool. UDOT sends out temporary counters into a lot of city streets, and they'll count how many cars per day are coming through there and make a rough estimate of what the annual average is. So 500 North on that section is like 10,000 cars, which is definitely significant. So yes, a street like that could use it. Rob, do you know if there's on the master plan something here?
I don't recall that is an active transportation corridor that far north. I can pull it up real quick. I know south of there, 100 West is a big downtown active transportation corridor. I don't remember how far up we have.
By the blood donation center
Aaron, do you want to say something? You unmuted.
Yeah, I did the counts on East Center Street, right near where the parklet now is. And what I noticed was that there's a lot of bicyclists who are riding on the sidewalk. And I think
Fifth
that
North?
no. East Center Street.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
We saw, I was there too. I saw the same thing. It was about 80% on the sidewalk.
Yeah, and I think that is an indictment of Center Street. It's a 15-mile-per-hour street, and if people don't feel safe sharing the lane there, where will they feel safe sharing the lane?
Yeah. Thanks. Rob, on the transportation master plan, it is marked.
I just pulled it up. I was just gonna say that as soon as Aaron was done, but yeah,
Oh, cool.
it is all the way up to 8th. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure, like, when the city has money, when the street gets repaved, some kind of better crossing will go in.
Yeah, we can do counts. We've got we can put the both our traffic counters out there to see to verify, I guess, what the speeds and the volumes are out there, and then take a look at the pedestrian counts, send our interns out there to do pedestrian counts, or we've got mobile cameras that we can hook up to a street light or something to do counts, and then have them watch and see where we're at in terms of what the recommendations might be in that area. But and then depending on what they are, yeah, a lot of times we'll find something, and then if it's more substantial than just a couple of lines of paint, which on 500 North, I would guess that it's going to be with that high traffic, then we'll typically do that when we come through the next time and redo that section of 5th North. So,
yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Rob, I just learned about this. Do you know about this matrix from the National Highway Traffic Safety Organization, or FHWA?
Yeah, for
crosswalks?
we have it in a little bit different format, but yeah, that's what we use for recommendations.
Okay, cool. Okay. Well, Clark isn't here, so we'll end it unless you guys have anything else you want to say. I'll post the recording on YouTube and share it with the rest of the volunteers. Okay, thanks everybody. Remember those UVX meetings? We'll post about them. And then Chelsea's organizing the Goathead polling. So we encourage you to be at as many of those things as your schedule allows. So thanks everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.